Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ChaiNet, the Agentic Commerce podcast exploring how brands are building in an AI world. Hiring breaks at scale. You know this if you've ever tried to go from 5 people to 15 or from 15 to 50. Job posts pile up, resumes blur together, interview schedules collapse, and you end up hiring whoever showed up on time rather than who's actually right for the role. most most brands treat this as a people problem. They hire recruiters, they try to build scoring rubrics, but there's still a human bottleneck that gets slower and slower as you grow more. Our today's guest has spent over 20 years building and scaling service businesses. She's been the 2007 National Pet Sitting Business of the Year. She's grown companies from solo operations to multi-employee teams, and she's sold businesses that now run without her. She works as a fractional operational leader. She helps service-based brands replace manual chaos with AI-powered systems. And she's recently built a hiring as an AI native system. So we're going to talk to her about that. So let's welcome Bella on the stage now.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi, Bella. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks so much for having me here.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this for all our viewers. Also, this is the first time we're going live on Facebook as well. We've never done this before, and it was after our conversation that I figured out that okay, you can do this on Facebook as well. So I'm not sure if we'll have any viewers, but if you guys are viewing us from Facebook, then it was because of our collaboration that we're doing this.
I absolutely love this. I'm going to find the link and share it out immediately because I'm very, very active on Facebook.
I've been seeing that, and I logged in the last time we spoke. That was the first time I logged in after I think 5 years, and then and I've been not that active, but I've still been scrolling and understanding the platform.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
but let's start. Let's get out. So, if you could, Bella, if you could give a small introduction for our listeners who, who don't know you from before.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Bella Vasta, and I am in wonderful Scottsdale, Arizona, USA. It is February and it's like 80 degrees out. It's gorgeous here. We're very lucky.
Wow.
Not in the summer though. I have been an entrepreneur for 20 plus years. I started my first company when I was in college as a way to get out of my parents' house because they wanted to put a curfew on me. I started sleeping over
Wow.
with dogs and cats, and I didn't realize people would pay me for it or that it was the kind of the beginning of the industry. And so I grew
Right.
that to a six-figure 10-employee company where I sold it successfully in 2016, 2 years after having one of the world's smallest surviving female babies. She was born at just 12 ounces
Wow.
or 350 grams, and she was an inch
Wow.
shorter than a Barbie doll. That was I'd say that so that anyone listening that says, no, 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 you don't understand. I'm going through XYZ, cancer, or taking
Right.
care of my parents, or have some tragedy, or I'm depressed. I have had my full circle multiple times because I've been in business for 20 years. I've done
Right.
this during the times of growth, during the times of survival, during the
Wow.
times where you're creative, and during the times where, you know what, we just need to put this on autopilot and take care of ourselves.
Right.
Um, I also had a stint before that where I started a poop scooping company in Orange County. A lot of people
Wow.
don't know that, with a business partner.
Right.
And then I also started coaching in 2007, and it was predominantly in the pet industry. But now we
Right.
bring us up to 2026 at the time of the recording. And for the
Right.
past 2 years, I've been on this soapbox teaching and inspiring about AI because I really feel, Ratchet, that there's never been a better
Yes.
time to be a business owner than
Of
right
course.
now, because we all have access to AI no matter what you're doing. And the only thing that holds you back is this right here. How are
Of
you
course.
going to use it? And we're
Right.
going to get into this, but AI is such a spectrum that, and I think because it's a spectrum, it's overwhelming to a lot of people.
Of
So
course. Yes.
I'm now a single mom to a wonderful 11-year-old who is happy and
Oh,
healthy and
wow.
beautiful. I get to mom really hard with her, and then I get to do what I love and be in alignment with helping inspire people to change their I can'ts to I cans through
Wow.
hiring.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, that's a solid. That's been a solid trajectory. So during in the last 20 years, as you said, there must have been ups and downs, right? So
So many.
so what was one one down, or one failure which you think, like, taught you a lot, and got you where you are today?
Right. Okay, I'll pick two that I think almost everyone would be able to relate with. The first one was when I realized that I wasn't going to have a normal pregnancy.
Yeah.
And here I was running a company. I did have an office manager and employees at the time. So it was
Right.
really great because I always say that if you're going to have your own business or you're going to be in charge of something, at some point, something's going to happen to you or someone you love. I hate to say it, but
Of
it's
course.
life. So whether
Right.
it's cancer or a divorce or a death, or you have to take care of someone, or God
Right.
forbid yourself, right? Something's
Right.
going to happen. And our
True.
systems and our processes that we do in business is going to be what makes it thrive or fail. Okay. And when I was
Correct.
in NICU, I was in NICU for 182 days. That's
Oh,
6 months.
wow.
I was there.
Oh,
I was
six
actually just
months.
telling my daughter on the way to school today. She was asking me about it. I was there every single day except for one day. And I was there for 8 to 10 hours a day. This is
Right.
baby ICU where you can't be like,
Yes.
hey, what's going on? Yeah, da 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 da, or on your
Right.
computer. You have to, that is the ultimate test. Are
Of
your
course.
coaching and your pet sitting company systems working without you in them? And hiring is a big part of that because I think a lot of people get really discouraged and they're like, nobody wants to work, or everyone ghosts me, or nobody has a good
Of
working
course.
ethic. And I look at their system and I think, what are we doing to attract the right kind of people? And not to keep going here, but when we think about who we want to attract and what kind of culture we want, that's actually really personal. And
Right.
it forces us to shine a mirror on ourselves.
Of
And
course.
that's where
Yes.
people freak out and they freeze and they go, well, I don't know. I just want someone to come in and do the job. And I'm like, okay, well, they're going to
Right.
also go and do someone else's job when they get pulled that way if there's
Of
nothing that's
course.
pulling them. Hiring is marketing. It's marketing for your company and it's a two-way
True.
street. So I believe that when I went through that and then I went through a divorce about 4 years after that, and that was, oh my gosh, how am I going to survive? Am I going to have a roof over my head? Am I exchanging dollar for time? Like, what are
Right.
my revenue streams? How am I going to do this? And I had to decide, and it keeps evolving all the time, right?
Of
Who
course.
do I want to be? What's my identity?
Yes.
And what do I
Right.
want to attract into my business and my life? And not
Correct.
just with business, but here's a little secret. Whatever you are challenged with in your own business, you're also challenged with in your friendships, in your love life, in your relationship with yourself. It's not
Right.
exclusive to business. So if you have boundary issues, self-worth issues, if you have issues of communication or a like, saying the hard thing out loud,
Right. Right.
these are
It'll
all
happen
skills.
everywhere. It'll happen in your personal life as well as in your business. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that a lot of people freeze up and they don't even realize
Correct.
it. So this is your wake up call. Whatever
Right.
you're struggling with and whatever you feel like you're stagnant or you've reached a plateau, there's an
Right.
opportunity for you to upgrade your identity, to lean into it. But that takes a lot of courage, Ratchet. It takes a
Yes,
lot of
it does.
courage. And
It
unless we
does.
have the right people around us guiding us, friendships, coaches, mentors, these lovely podcasts, to take one little nugget and say, you know what? That stuck with me. It's going to change everything.
Correct. No, that's very solid. And wow, Bella, like I was 6 months. I can't imagine in the NICU. So I have a 1-year-old, and she was in the NICU for almost a day,
Yeah.
just one day.
Yeah.
And that one day, we were. My heart was in my mouth, and I was like, okay,
Yes.
what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And wow, that's truly a
I believe everyone's going to
perseverance.
have their NICU experience, which is trauma.
Yes.
It's trauma
Yes.
happening in your life where you
Right.
literally you're just trying to survive the minute or the hour, not the
Yes.
day. the
Yes,
minute or the
absolutely.
hour.
Yes.
And when
You
you're
can't even
trying
think
to
beyond the
survive
hour. It's just like, okay, what's gonna happen next hour? Yeah.
And when you're trying to survive that, the last thing you want to do is be
Of
selling on the
course.
phone or
No.
doing a hiring thing. You want to be able to
No.
be like, here's my hiring system, Ratchet. Can you go take care of this for me so I can fight
Yes.
for my kid's life? Or
Hmm.
be there for my ailing parents or whatever that looks
Correct.
like for you.
Right. Yeah. Let's get into that. Let's get
Okay.
into the hiring system. So, of course, manual processes are good for, let's say, till you're hiring like maybe one person in every few months, right? At what point, manual processes break, and what are the existing tools? I was reading a post about Jazz HR, and then I went and looked it up. Seems like a good tool. But I see a lot of people have been, on your post itself, people have been like really troubled with HR tools in general. So what are the existing tools, and where do they fail? What do you think? At what
Okay,
point did they fail?
so I was a partner with them for a very long time. And
Mm-hmm.
businesses change and evolve.
Of
And
course.
I felt like I had to say that publicly because I don't really feel like they're looking out for the small business anymore, if I could just be very bold about that.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, I believe that you should never do a manual process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's scary for people because they're
Right.
looking at this the proverbial blank paper, and they're saying, oh my gosh, what should I do? And I
Right.
think that I have a 10-step hiring method that I teach on
Mm-hmm.
stages, I teach privately when I consult, or I just create it for people. And when you have 10 steps all done out,
Right.
when something breaks, or
Hmm.
sometimes just algorithms change, and you
Yes.
think, nobody wants to work for me, no one wants to hire. It's not really the truth. It's just that one
Hmm.
of those things needs a little tweaking. But
Hmm.
if you're hiring off of a phone call in your gut and a prayer, then you're screwed, if I can say that and be bold,
Right.
okay? So I don't think anyone should ever be doing it manually. It costs you a lot of time. And if we're honest about how much our time is worth, sitting there and like going through your regular email with a whole bunch of applications, and
Right.
not only is it rigorous, Wretched, it is depressing.
Hmm.
It'll take all of your creative, exciting business energy out.
Right.
And so I don't believe that we ever really should be doing it manually.
Hmm.
There's another platform that's really, really, really small business friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to jumpconsulting.net/breezy, you can get straight
Mm-hmm.
to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful. It's happy. It's exciting. You can take all of these steps that I help people do and put it in there, and it could work on a couple minutes a day instead
Wow.
of you in there for hours. And then
Right.
having to remember, okay, what phase is this person on? Because I believe in building out phases, right? You figure
Hmm.
out what is important to you in your business. Maybe it's attention to detail, customer service, maybe it's
Right.
communication. And then we test for those three things
Mm-hmm.
individually. And that's part of the 10 steps. Okay. But
Got it.
it's things that it takes a very strong foundation. It's like you can't build a house out of sticks and twigs and expect that when a hurricane comes, it's going to stay standing. We
Of
need to
course.
build your hiring system out of concrete and stone so that it can withstand all the pressure testing it's going to get.
Right. Of course. Uh, yeah. So would love to understand. Those ten
Yes.
steps, and what.
Okay, so I'll get
Right.
into I
Yes.
always like to take it
I
from
can't I can't hold it now. I
I
want
could
to
talk
I want
about
to know
this for
more.
hours. Okay, so here's my method. I mean, I'll
Hmm.
absolutely tell you exactly what it is. There's like I don't gatekeep, okay? So first you need to identify your candidate. I had a client I was speaking with yesterday, and she goes, "But Bella, why would anyone want to work for me?" And I was like, "Okay, so remember what I said. This goes back to what we need to work on. That's self-worth." It's like, "Huh?" And so I readjusted her thing to the point that she
Hmm.
was like excited about it. So we need to figure out who is our avatar, just like you would in
Right.
marketing. Okay, when you're looking for
Correct.
clients, it's a mom with kids who are at school in high school. They don't really need her, but she wants a little bit of a little job in the middle of the day. She doesn't want to work corporate and be chained to a desk, but she wants something that, whatever it might be, right? So we have to think of our avatar. The second thing is, then we need to write love letters. That's what I call about the hiring ads. Okay. Now, yes, you do have a lot of legalities that you need to make sure you put it in there. But guys, we can make this not sound like stale, sterile corporate junk. I want someone to read your hiring ad and be like, I really want to work for these people. Like they get me. I want it to feel like that marketing advertisement where people are like, oh my gosh, yes, that's me. Okay. And I want to encourage people that you can do that, especially now in 2026, we have AI. If you have your own GPT or gem, that already talks in your language, it's really easy. Or even if you don't have that, you can still say, okay, I need all these elements, but make it sound like this. Okay, there's no reason why we can't do that. And a lot of the ATSs that we have, applicant tracking systems, you can easily also put in a picture or two. Who cares about your logo? Why don't you show me what it feels like to work for you?
Correct. Yes.
Because not only for the hiring agent is it's depressing to go through all of it, right? Most of the time, because it's just like, but it's also depressing for the person who's applying. They're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to give it my all, because most of these companies don't even say, hey, I got your application, or I will let you know yes or no. Many people don't even say anything. So these people are applying at multiple different places. Why are they going to apply at you? So that love letter is really, really important. The next thing is knockout questions. So before you even get to what I call phases, and this isn't a full-blown application. This is like, I don't know, if it's a service trade business and maybe you have to use your car because you don't provide cars, are you willing to drive your personal car up to 200 miles a week for work? And if they say no, then you're out. Like automatically, like we're not even going to get to the first interview or anything until we know that our basic non-negotiables are taken care of, which I call knockout questions. Okay. And when you have it, see, again, manually, this would be terrible. Okay. But when you have this set up and you've done the thinking about it first, it's so easy. Then you have the
these knockout questions, like where do they answer these questions then? Like,
so typically it's an applicant tracking system.
So with again, any ATS,
I'm sorry?
With any ATS. With any ATS, this would you?
Yes. I would always have that built into the first part of your system. Like, and that's where, like, it's kind of how they apply. I think too many people say, hey, do a whole entire application right now and give me all this information. First of all, in the United States, you have to like securely hold all of that for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
Second of all, like, how do you even know you want that information? We haven't even qualified them yet. Like, there's a time and place for that, and it's not right now. That's okay if you're like, I don't know, a bank teller or like a cashier at the local grocery store or something like that. But most of the time in service-based small businesses, like, we're looking for a lot more. And so this is why the system is so sensitive. Okay. So then you do the phases. I like 3 phases, and it feels like a lot because it is a lot. I want 3 different emails going back and forth with us where you're answering these questions and I'm really getting to know you. And nowadays we even put in there, do not use, we need this in your own words, don't use AI. Because in most cases, depending on the job, a lot of people will just automatically decline if it looks like AI did it. And let's face it, we can all tell when AI's done it. Okay.
Of course, yes.
And along with those phases, you also need the next step is a scoring system. And so this is what makes it so that if I'm in NICU, God forbid ever again, I could hand it off to you. And I could say, hey, Ratchet, can you go interview these people? Here's my SOP for that. And you know exactly how you're rating them and if you're moving them on. So it's a standardized process for this. I've done an
Right.
entire episode on my podcast, Bella in Your Business, where I talk all about this. So if anyone's listening right now and you want to hear about all those details, feel free to reach out to me. You can get me everywhere, just at bellavasta.com or Bella Vasta, and I'll send you the
Right.
episode. And you can listen absolutely free. But the scoring system is really, really important. This is what prevents you from hiring off of hope and a prayer and your gut,
Right.
which doesn't really work out too well. And then we want to prepare interview questions. And typically, what I like to do is I like to do a 10-minute Zoom interview. And that's really formalities. Can you show up on time? Can you show up not
Right.
in a robe, which, believe it or not, people have done?
Oh,
You
wow.
know, you would think this is common sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyways, so there's like this 10-minute interview, and what I do during that 10-minute interview is reconfirm those knockout questions. I
Correct.
reconfirm availability. It's very little.
Right.
But what I also do in this is I say, okay, and like, what do you know about the company? And in these emails that we've gone back and forth, in the bottom, it says, check out the company, learn about the company. And you'll
Right.
be surprised how many people are actually applying
People
for a
don't.
job who know nothing about the company.
Right.
They don't
Right.
even try. And for most of my business owners, that's not someone that they want, right? Again,
Correct.
this is a two-way street. I want to know who I'm creating this relationship with. And so we
Right.
provide these opportunities for people to do this.
True, true. I think even with in my hiring experience, the first thing is that the people don't show up on time. It's like it's so basic, and still like there are like I would say 80% of the people are like at least 2 minutes late, right? And immediately it's a red flag. So I think whoever we've ended up hiring, like that's been our basic check. Like if you're 2 minutes late for an interview, for an online interview, then it just sorry, this is
Yeah.
not the culture we want to be. Yeah.
I 100% agree. When I had my pet sitting company, I used to tell people, I said, early is on time is late. And, I
Right.
had people going out there meeting with dog owners and pet owners
Right.
before they would hire us for daily dog walking or they would go on their trip. And the number one thing that's happening with clients, and this could be in HVAC, it could be in housekeeping, it could be
Right.
trust. Most companies don't realize they're selling trust. So when
Yes.
you're hiring someone to come show up, if they can't show up for an interview, like you said, then how can we display trust in our company with
Correct.
our clients? We need to know that this person who's driving around or running around all
Right.
day, going to homes, that's predominantly who I help, service-based home providing services. Um,
Right.
we need to know that they have a good concept of time and that they have good
Yes.
integrity over it.
Right.
Yeah. And so that first interview is like the 10-minute quick one. But at the end, this is another thing I always do. Um, I kind of explain like what's happening, like what we're looking for verbally, even though it's already been a couple times. And I say,
Right.
I want you to go think about this with, whomever you speak with. Because if it's a college kid, it's usually their parents have a say in it. If it's a wife or a husband, their significant other usually has a say in it, right? I always
Right.
say, like, you're not just interviewing that person. You're kind of interviewing, like, their tribal council, whoever makes that up. Everyone has an opinion. So
Right.
go think about it, talk about it, and if you're still interested, then let me know by tomorrow at noon if you're interested in moving forward with them. So you actually give them the power. And you'll be surprised how many people you think your gut tells you, oh my gosh, this is the perfect person. And then you don't hear from them.
Oh,
You hear
that's very
nothing.
interesting. I have never done that. Honestly, this is something I've never like after the first interview. It's never been like I've never said that. Okay, you get
Yeah.
back. It's usually okay. We'll get back to you.
There are so many details like that during interviewing, and there's these little tricks. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
And that's what's built out this process. I'll tell you, your reaction is exactly what I get a lot of times from stages. People are
Right.
like, I didn't think about that. And,
Yes.
and they change this one little nugget that I give them, and it completely, but then you know what happens, and we're only on number 6, 7, we're only on number 6.
Right.
Um, what happens is when people change this, all of a sudden they become what I call the boss in charge, okay? And not in a bad way, in a way that empowers them, in a way that gives them confidence. Like, imagine being a business owner and having confidence in every person that you hire, to the point that now you're not coming from a place of fear where I hope they don't ghost me. I hope they show up. I hope they stay for more than 2 months. I don't want to invest all this time and money and energy in
Right.
training them if
And
they're going to leave.
training.
So you know
And
what? I'll
yes.
train them 60 days in once our new hire period.
Yes.
That's terrible. What you're doing is basically saying, yo,
Right.
prove yourself. I don't believe in you. I definitely don't believe in my processes. So guess what's going to happen? And
Yeah,
so
I think with that, that's the de facto, right? Like
I
for
know.
whomever we've hired, we don't start training before the first month. We're like, okay, first, yeah, the training starts
Because you're
at day
like, "Are you sure
31.
you like me? Are you sure? Are
Yes,
you
yes,
sure?"
yes.
And what that tells me is that your hiring process needs help. And that's okay
Right.
because we don't learn this in college. We don't
Of
learn
course.
this like, okay, this isn't a common knowledge, which is why it's such a important personal mission of mine to
Right.
inspire people to change their "I can't do this" to "I can do this," and it can be
Right.
amazing because I've done
Correct.
this with hundreds of companies over 20 years. Okay? I have had, let me tell you this one story. We're going to go off script for a second. I had this one business owner that I was helping out. She had many different facets of her company, and I actually flew out to her on the East Coast 2 years ago, and I gave her this whole thing, and she fought me on it, and she didn't do it. So 2 years later, last year, she comes back to me and she's like, "Bella, that hiring process, I think I need help." I'm like, "Well, why didn't you do it?" She goes, "It just felt like too many steps. It was too much." And I was like, "Okay," but now she's at dire straits. She's literally about to just like walk away from this $2 million business because she is just at dire straits. Okay. It's ruining her life. She can't, she feels like the prisoners are running the asylum. She's hiring these people and they're holding her hostage. They're telling her how it was terrible. The culture was terrible. People were quitting. They were covering for each other. She was literally hostage. Okay. I had one of her people tell me, um, because I interview these companies before I go into them. "Well, Bella, I know where the bodies are hidden, so she's never gonna fire me." I was
Oh
like,
God.
"Oh my
Wow.
God!" Like I'm not exaggerating when I say hostage situation. So listen, this is what we did. We implemented all of these stages for every single one of her positions because it's not just
Right.
one and you apply it for the whole company. Every
Correct.
position needs this because they had nuances. And you know what
Yes.
she said one day? She said, "Bella, I had this lady go through the process. And although we mutually decided that it wasn't a good fit for her because the process was so good at being transparent and explaining, what was going to be needed." She goes,
Right.
"Even though that happened, she said that her husband was so impressed with my hiring process that he's stealing it for his company." And then we check in with her a couple of months later. She had hired 5 more people, and she goes, "They're the best people I've ever hired." And I go, "Yeah, because we figured out what you wanted and attracted in those people
Those people.
rather than
Right.
hope and a prayer and your gut." Do you know what
Right.
I mean? And desperation. Let's talk about desperation. I'm talking about the marketing side of hiring. I'm talking about the psychology part of hiring. Okay.
Right.
You can go out and get no offense, but like the boring, corporate jargon that's not appealing. Or we could think about, as small business owners, what do we want to build? And you
Right.
have to start with you because if you're fearful, you're going to attract that.
Correct.
It literally is science. Science proves that. Okay, so should we get back to the steps?
Yes, yes, let's do
Okay.
that. But I love these stories, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's so true. Like, and that's not
Yes.
an anomaly. Like, that is like, and I always giggle. And I get off these calls or off these stages, and I'm like, I am so in alignment with what I'm here to do. Like, I am put on earth to empower people to do this stuff. Like, it is. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm very grateful for your time today and interviewing me. So thank
No,
you.
it's
All right, so we do all of we do the phases, we do the scoring system,
right.
we do the interview questions, like, and these questions are obviously specific for the position and the company.
Of
Then
course.
we create the offer.
Hmm.
And you know who I really love, who really inspired a lot of what I'm about to say, is Joey Coleman. If you guys don't know him, go look him up. He has a book, Never Lose an Employee and Never Lose a Customer. He's a very big on customer experience. And and I've had clients implement this. I've interviewed him on my podcast. I've interviewed him in my mastermind where I help small business owners. And
Right.
you know, you want to create this offer. Again, you don't want to do the same like
Hmm.
yeah, you need the important things in there. You need the legality,
Right.
okay?
Right.
But there's no rule that says you can't be excited about this offer, that you
Hmm.
can't use beautiful language and make it whatever reflects your company. And this looks so different, so it's hard for me to say this is what you do because everyone's
Right.
different. Um, and then when you train them, even the training, a lot of people in small business, service-based businesses are like, hey, just come follow me, shadow me for a couple
Of
days.
course.
And the
Right.
person who's training is trying to tell them everything because they want to make sure they get everything. The person
Right.
who's watching is like flooded and overwhelmed because our brains can only hold so much. Okay.
Hmm.
And so what I
Right.
say is do like 2 full days of training with topics. Okay. So maybe some things like
Right.
security and cleanliness. Well, Bella, we do so much more than that. You don't understand. Yeah, I do understand. But if we do that and we give a checklist for the trainer and the trainee and let them rate each other, not just the
Hmm.
trainer for the trainee, but both ways. The
Right.
trainee is starting to understand that their voice and their participation in your company and your
Hmm.
culture values
Right.
this. It's not
And
you
from day
looking down
one,
your
they're
nose saying,
they're
are you
getting to
good
know
enough?
that okay, I'm valued. Like from day one, from the
Yes,
day they join, they're getting to know that okay,
yes.
there's some I'm valued.
Yes, there's so much to that. And so one of my
Hmm.
clients, and this is the Joey Coleman part, what she's done is when a new employee would arrive at a home, this is amazing.
Hmm.
She would during the onboarding part, we have this thing called our favorites list and we have them fill it out, like
Hmm.
your favorite candy bar, your favorite Starbucks drink, your favorite like whatever it might be.
Right.
And it just feels kind of like an interview and you're like, why do you need this? But this is why. This
Right.
is one of the reasons why. And they show up at the client's home on the street, playing the music, their favorite song, with their favorite Starbucks drink, with like a poster board that says like "Welcome to your first day," and any other like employee that's in the area stops by for
Right.
a quick 5 minutes. Okay, these other
Hmm.
employees get to be excited about celebrating this new team member. This new
Right.
team member is shocked. You show me a corporate agency that does this.
Right. Yeah. I don't
Now
think
you
there's
don't just have
anyone.
employees, you have advocates for your business. Okay?
Right.
And like I said, this is from Joey. This I wish I could
Wow.
claim this, but I'm not going to. But that's, have fun with the training. And again, everyone is different,
Hmm.
right? Like you might not like curly hair and a blue jacket. You're a guy. You're going to have something different. And every
Right.
business is different. And through this process, it takes courage, like I was saying. It takes a lot of reflection of what culture do I want to build because people are building culture whether or not they're intentional about it. Just like we're telling ourselves who we are, whether we're conscious about it or not. Okay.
Right.
The voices in our head are telling us, you can't do that. You're dumb. You're stupid. Or they're saying, yeah, you can do that. Or we do that because that's who we
Hmm.
are. Okay.
Right.
And like I said, like I always say, this is never just about hiring. I always take it to the bigger picture. What can we learn
Hmm.
from this? Who are we? This is all
Right.
about our reflection. And if we don't pay attention to it, that's why
Hmm.
we're not getting good employees. It has nothing to do
Hmm.
with the fact that there's no one out there that wants to work. That's false. It's
Right.
false. Okay. And now the last one is analyze and refine. And so
Hmm.
I kind of talked about this at the beginning, but this is really important. I think a lot of people are like, I have a process, I'm done, I don't need to do anything else. The difference with this ratchet is things are going to change over time. Even the
Hmm.
algorithm for all of these ATS systems that syndicate, like this new one, the old one only did 15 companies. The new one does 50 places where it will syndicate your job. 50. That's
Hmm.
amazing. Okay.
Right.
And
Yes.
so these all have their own algorithms. And so one
Correct.
day, board A might be getting you everything, and then all of a sudden it drops down to nothing. Oh, well, they made an algorithm switch. That's why.
Yes,
But
yes,
we don't
yes.
know this until like that happens, or maybe one part of your system isn't working for some
Right,
whatever reason, right? And so
right.
when you have it all spread out like this, you can globally look and you can say, oh, let's tweak this one right here. Let's tweak this over here.
Right.
You can't do that when you're living off of hope and a prayer in your gut,
Yes.
you know? And
Right.
I am a creative, okay? I love being creative. Honestly, data and numbers, it doesn't get me excited, but it does when it's the profit margin and the P&L, or it does when
Right.
it's things like this and it's your hiring process. So
Right.
I make it fun for people. I give them a reason. Why do I want to care about this? And
Hmm.
push past my, I'm not good at this. Like, okay, good. We're not good at everything. Good job,
Right.
you know? And so anyway, so this whole process, as you can see, this is just over 20 minutes, 30 minutes that I've been here with you.
Right.
These are like workshops. Like I could take 3 hours and go into all the nitty gritty, and then everyone has these questions. And the problem is that when you go through this, you naturally stop. Your brain stops, and you're like, "Oh shoot, what do I ask here? I don't know. I'm not feeling confident. I'll come back to this later." And then you don't. And then
Of
six
course.
months
Yes.
later, and 10 bad hires later, who
Still
have
in the
done
same
who
place.
knows what kind of damage to your business
Right.
happens. And then you finally, like that one person I told you, come to me and say, Bella, I'm
I need
hostage
this.
now. I can't
Yeah.
take this. You're my last resort. Don't let it get there. Don't let it
Right.
get there. Okay? This isn't something I just create. Like I've got 20 years skin in the game and
Yes, of
hundreds
course.
of people, and I really love doing this from stage. I really, really love it because it's this, and you feel like I have a lot of energy here. Like, give me a stage and a microphone, and it is like a freaking party. It is so fun
Wow. Yeah.
on a subject that a lot of business owners just don't like. It's not sexy. It's really depressing, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, hiring in general, yeah, as you said, right? It's been a, it's usually a very you never think of it in that way, right? Like as a business owner, it's just something which you hate to do and you have to do, and it's just like you're just stuck, and then there's someone leaves and they're like, okay, I need to hire again, and
Right.
that it just becomes, yeah. So, but like in throughout the system, if we talk about, like, you've been in the game for 20 years, right? So in the last three to 4 years, since all our AI, Chat GPT and Gemini, and all of these have now evolved and become so much more better. Has there been, do you think that there's an evolution in the system itself, and there are things that earlier were more difficult which can now be done like better?
Yes, absolutely. So when I used to do this with people, even like 2, 3 years ago, when we would get to these phases, right? And you'd say, okay, Bella, I want to test on responsibility, right? Back then, we'd be like, tell me about a time when you were, oh, no, 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 wait, let's change that. Let me think about this for 10 more minutes. Then let me go to Google. And then let me go
Right.
see let me go searching the web for
Correct.
all these questions, okay?
Right.
Now I could turn on ChatGPT and I could say, hey, this is my job ad. These are the requirements. You
Right.
already know what I do. Give me 15 open-ended questions that would explain to me if someone was da 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 da. And I say 15 even though I need three, because I want
Right.
options. I mean, what
Right. And
person
then
doesn't
you
want
select.
options?
Right.
And now what the mental capital that you just
Right.
saved, Ratchet, is massive, because now I'm
Of
able to
course.
move through
Yes.
this in a strategic, specific way, not a general way that someone posted on the internet 5 years ago that I'm going to copy. That has nothing to do with my business. Okay.
Right.
And like you just run into all these mental roadblocks here. When you do it this way now, it saves you. So now you're able to go on to the next step and the next step and the next step without burning out mentally. And that's
Right.
just one example. Now, on the other side of that, what's also happened, I think, for applicants is applicants have said, great, I'm going to take this. these are the questions. Write me an
Yes, I'm
answer. And
good.
I
That was
send
my
it.
next question. That question was going on in my
Oh,
head,
I
and
know
I
exactly
wanted to
where you're
ask that.
going.
But yeah,
Because that's what these business
yes,
owners say too. Okay. And so that right there, that doesn't come down to, oh, well, Bella, I take their answers and I put them into an AI finder. No, those things are like volatile, first of all.
hmm,
Second of all, what we're looking for is that human thing. How can we
correct,
tell a story that is personal so you know it wasn't some generic answer? Now, here's the problem. It's also not necessarily bad that I told you at the beginning AI is a spectrum.
right,
I'm not so concerned because I'm not hiring people to write novels, okay? And most
hmm,
service businesses aren't hiring people to write, okay?
right,
But if I can tell that you've actually used AI as a tool to enhance what you've got, I think that's
hmm,
great. Because guess
hmm,
what?
fair,
AI is going to be in a lot of service-based businesses. For example, in the pet sitting, I did this with my people a year and a half ago, okay?
right,
And people are only starting to realize this. We
hmm,
created a GPT that would
hmm,
talk just like the business owner would, because every time you have a pet sitter and you get a note from them every single visit, hey, Fluffy was great, he went number 1 and 2, we did this and we did that. The
right,
problem is that some people would write novels and they're very descriptive, and other people would be very factual, like a doctor. And the
correct,
factual person could actually be a better employee, and this person could be like, yeah, but the client
hmm,
loves this person because of the way that they
yes,
talk.
of
So we're
course,
not having a standard communication, right?
hmm,
And
hmm,
now the client's like, I only want this person, which creates an operational mess for your company because you can't just send in whoever you want. And
right,
so by creating a GPT, you can say, hey, Fluffy went number 1 and 2. We came, this happened, that happened, enter, and now it writes it in the way that we want the company to talk about. I mean, with cats and
correct,
dogs, people call them cats and dogs. They call them fur kids. They call them babies. They call them,
yes,
there's so many names for things. And it's
right,
like that in every industry. And
right,
so what that does is it keeps it. So going back to my example here, it's not a fact of like, you used AI, we don't like you. It's,
hmm,
are you using AI to represent you, or are you using it as a tool? Because
hmm,
businesses are going to start adapting their business, hopefully, if they haven't already,
right,
using AI as a tool to help with things like consistency. That's one of
correct,
many examples.
hmm.
Okay. And we want people that don't come, because I have had employees say, I don't use ChatGPT, it's the devil. Okay,
Right.
well, there's not a position here for you at this company, because
Hmm.
we're forward thinking and we use as many tools to
Of
help give
course.
our clients the best experience possible. And so that's another thing that's changed. We've said, like, how do you feel about using ChatGPT? And people will tell you their honest answer. Okay. So
Right.
a lot has changed. And that's also
Hmm.
why, let's go back to that 10 steps. It's really important that we have these 10 steps written out, because if you didn't and it was hope, prayer, in your gut, we would just be
Hmm.
saying, asking a question, be like, well, you said that you could do it. What do you mean you don't want to do it? No, 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 no,
Right.
no, no. We're going to test for it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Fair.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
But do you think absolutely, absolutely. But do you think like see you've been working with so many business, hiring so many people, right? And since AI has become so commonplace,
Yes.
um, I personally have seen a lot of other founder friends who've been complaining about uh, like employees were really good before,
Uh-huh.
the employees who were really good before, and now they did this whole exercise that they've enabled their employees to now start using AI, and now they've kind of dumbed down and now they don't think for themselves. Do you think that's happening? Like, is it like a one-off case, or do you think that's normal? And if it is, then can we do something about that while hiring? That is this has this person does this person use AI to think for themselves, or does this for think for them, or does this person think for themselves and use AI to improve them their
Brace
own
yourself.
yes.
I might I might upset some people because I'm about to poke at your core thoughts. I'm going to challenge you. If you think your employees are doing what you said, then I would challenge you on what kind of leader have you been with using
Mm,
AI in your company? Okay. We are all leaders, and we need to explain to people, like I said, AI is a spectrum. So if
Right.
people think AI is you just get on it and you go boop, 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 it's like, this is a cell phone. What percentage do you actually talk on the phone? Like 2%, okay? That would be like, I use ChatGPT to reword everything and I don't do any of my thinking. That would be the 2%. What we're going to evolve to is AI can make text. It can be a video. It could be a camera. It could be a calculator. It could be a social media place. It could be
Right.
a marketing tool. It could be a, and right now, I think collectively we are thinking that AI is just for a phone call. Does that make sense? I like to talk in analogy, so I want to make sure that that landed because I haven't said that one yet.
Yes.
But
Yes.
that's what it
Yes.
is. And so when people are saying, "Oh, my employees are getting dumber because they're using it," well, what kind of education are you doing to say we're going to be implementing AI in our company, and here are the best practices, or here are the strategies, or here are how you should be thinking about it? Who's teaching
Right.
them? If you're not teaching them, then respectfully think that, like, take a step back and see what you could be doing to help contribute to this problem that you have.
Fair. Makes sense. You cannot just give access to tools and then say that okay, go all out on them. There
Right.
needs to be a training. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I think it's exciting. And so that's what's so exciting for me, you know? It's
Right.
like there's so many things we can do. And of course, I mean, I could talk about this all day with you. I mean, from there's so many, I'm not going to though. But when it comes to specifically
Right.
hiring,
Yes.
here's the other fun thing about this. Do you remember when I said when we train to do two different subjects, right? Because our brains can do that. When I work with people, it works the same way because you think that we're only talking about hiring. But what you get and what you realize, like even on this podcast, is so much more. You realize
Yeah.
that, oh, shoot, it's my
Right.
mindset, it's my strategy. It's,
Yes.
I didn't know. I get every single time I work with someone, they go, I didn't know we could do that. And that's
Right.
the beautiful thing when you hire a strategist, is
Right.
because you're not just, it's not an instructor saying, okay, number one, class, let's do this. It's not about that. It's about
Yes.
giving you the space to uniquely be you, to bring your secret sauce, to pull that
Correct.
out of you because you're so tired, burnt out, stressed, overwhelmed, right? And so when you could have a strategist like myself come in and do that for you, or like make you change the lenses, I'll be silly, change your lenses and see it through a different perspective, all of a
Right.
sudden things shift. Yes, I did just do
Of course.
that.
No, that's superb. We have a community question. What parts of the hiring funnel benefit the most from AI, and which parts should stay very human? Should still stay very human?
I love this question. This is seriously, I think I'm gonna do like a whole talk on this. No. Okay, so the hiring funnel that AI would most benefit from is the stuff that I was telling you about, which was like creating the questions, right? Like you're trying to do that critical thinking that involves a little bit of creativity. Okay. So like I know I want to find a responsible person, but what do I ask them? And that's where
Right.
that's gonna help you because you're gonna instruct it. Okay. What was the second part of that question?
Which parts should stay completely human?
Oh my gosh, the interviews.
Of course.
This is where we
But there
get
are
the
there are
interview.
platforms now which are trying to automate interviews as well, right?
Uh-huh. And I would even say training too. So I'm a big proponent of training people
Right.
many different ways. So like they'll have a handbook that they have to read and maybe take a quiz on. I think video is also really good. You have things on video. Again, they have a quiz on. And so that by
Correct.
the time they actually get to like in person, they've already read it and then, and wait, yeah, read it. I don't, whatever. They've read it and then they've seen it, right?
Right.
And now they get to do it. And so it's not that it's repetitive, it's just really getting baked in. Because I think one of the mistakes a lot of people make is they're like, okay, yeah, I have an employee handbook and manual. What do you mean you didn't read it and commit 50 pages to memory, Ratchet? It's in there. What are you thinking?
Right.
Like, bro, are you
Right.
kidding me? Like, I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning, you know? And so when you're doing on the job training, you can teach through stories, right? I bet you remembered a lot more of the stories I've said today than maybe
Of
the
course, yes.
technical part of it, right?
Absolutely. That's why I said I love stories, you know. And in
Yeah.
general, like analogies and stories are what you remember at the end of the day.
Tony Robbins is so good
Yes.
at that. And so that's part of, again, using a strategist to help you build out this training. It's not just like, okay,
Right.
step 9 is training. It's like, and how are we going to make this amazing for your
Yes. Yes.
company?
Yes.
And not just for
Correct.
the company, but to make it like it's that love letter that keeps going. It's a two-way
Hmm.
street. They are so excited to work for you. And let me
Right.
tell you, your handbook and manual is not turning them on.
Right.
It's the people part of it. So that is a
Yes,
fantastic
of course.
question. Thank you for asking
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So interviews and training need to be human. They cannot be automated. But yeah, but surprisingly, the other day I was talking to a founder who's building an AI for interviews, and yeah, they're like, we don't know. But I agree with you. You know, like maybe like the first round is a different thing, but it needs to be human for people to to actually to understand who you are and then commit
Yeah.
more to it. Yes,
That's
absolutely.
that's the strategy of where you have the business and you know it needs to be structured and automated,
Right,
but not
right.
100%.
Hmm.
Okay? There's certain parts that you need to, and there's certain parts that you can't, or you're gonna crash
Right.
and burn in a fiery mess.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Bella, for your time and
Yes.
for the 10-step strategy and for all the stories around and for all the knowledge which we've gained today in this session. It has been amazing. The last 40 minutes have been very, very knowledgeable for me. I've learned a lot of new things. I'm sure our viewers have learned a lot as well. And yeah, uh, once more, yeah, thanks for doing this. And for all our viewers, we actually met on Threads, and
Yeah.
it's amazing that that social. I've not used Threads ever. Like it was the first time. Like last month was the first time I
Oh,
started
me
posting on
too.
Threads. Like you as
Wait,
well,
hold on a minute.
right?
So we're both on LinkedIn and have been for a long time, I
Of
imagine, right?
course, yes,
And we both get on threads randomly, and the
right.
universe brings us together. You are located, where are you located right now?
I am in India,
Okay, so you're in India,
right? Right,
I'm in Arizona,
right.
and somehow our worlds collide to create this
Imagine,
beautiful thing. And if you're listening
imagine.
right now, it's not a mistake that you're listening. You have
Hmm.
you have
Right.
attracted us into your reality right now, and I want to
Right.
encourage you to reach out anywhere you can find me and just say hi and tell me what you do. Because while Ratchet and I had a really great conversation together, and this
Yes.
definitely like makes me start my day amazing. It's only 9 a.m. here. It's probably late your time.
It's late
It's
than
only,
later than 10 p.m. over here. So
yeah. Oh man, thank you for being, it's
thank you.
only good if we know that we've touched you. So if we have, please reach
Yes.
out to us and let us know, if I could just say that.
Absolutely. To all our listeners, you can reach out to Bella on any platform. She's on LinkedIn, she's in Threads, she's in Facebook, and very reachable. We
Yeah.
pinged. I pinged, and we got this. We created this last 45 minutes of a lot of knowledge, I would
Yes.
say.
Yes.
Great. So thank you so much, Bella, for doing this. Thank you for our listeners for listening this. And yeah, if you're scaling a brand and hiring is becoming a bottleneck, then this episode is super special for you. And you now know that there's a different way to build the system and to hire. I'm Rachit Magan, and this was the Agentic Commerce podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Bella, for doing this. Thank you, our listeners, for tuning in. Bye bye.